Hello everyone. In this video tutorial we are going to learn the preparation of ethers. We are going to learn three different compounds. One is alcohol, the other is phenol, and the last is ethers. So I am covering ethers first because it is a very small topic. How the ethers are prepared? The first method is by the dehydration of alcohol. Please note, alcohol undergoes dehydration, that is a removal of water molecule, in the presence of protic acids such as H2SO4, H3PO4. So they have defined the protic acids. Which are the protic acids? Sulfuric acid and orthophosphoric acid. In the presence of these protic acids, alcohols undergo dehydration and the formation of the reaction product is alkene or ether. Now you will be having questions. Sir, we are studying the preparation of ether. How the alkenes are formed? How do we come to know that the product will be alkene or ether? So they have mentioned it very clearly that it solely depends on what? The reaction condition. And which is the reaction condition? The reaction condition is going to be the temperature. Now you can see on your screen there are two reactions given, product 1 and product 2. The product 1, that is alkene with the double bond, is obtained at the temperature which is equals to 443 Kelvin, while if you have 413 Kelvin temperature, what you are going to have is ether as a product. So it is written, ethanol is dehydrated to ethene in the presence of sulfuric acid. See, the protic acid is same, only increase in the temperature and the product will be different. Now you must understand why it is necessary to remember the temperature and why we need to write the specific temperature at the specific reaction, because the conditions are very specific and the products which we are going to get may change depending on the temperature condition. Please note, the ether formation is a SN2 reaction. This was a MCQ we have seen in the MCQ test paper chapter 10. Okay, so this is going to be the MCQ. They have asked this MCQ once. So acidic dehydration. Why they have called the acidic dehydration? Because the dehydration takes place in the presence of acids, protic acids. So it is called the acidic dehydration. And the acidic dehydration of the alcohol to give an alkene is also associated with the substitution reaction to give an ether. Now we are talking about this method. The method is suitable for the preparation of ethers having primary alkyl groups only. That means if you wanted to prepare diethyl ether or dimethyl ether, or let's say ethyl methyl ether, in short up to propyl or butyl, it is feasible because the alkyl group should be unhindered. That means if alkyl group is bulkier, then there will be a hindrance, steric hindrance, and the temperature required would be high. So the alkyl group should be unhindered and the temperature should be kept low. Otherwise the reaction favors the formation of alkene and your ether will not form. So the reaction follows the SN1 pathway when the alcohol is secondary or tertiary, about which you will learn in the higher classes. So we are not going to cover this. For primary it is SN2. While for secondary and tertiary it is going to be SN1. So what happens in case of primary? Generally, the lower alkyl group favors the SN2 pathway, while it comes to SN1 pathway for this secondary and tertiary. Secondary and tertiary, that both follows the SN1 pathway, and the resulting is generally the alkene product. Why so? Because the dehydration is difficult. It is written the dehydration of secondary and tertiary alcohol to give the corresponding ethers is unsuccessful, as an elimination competes over the substitution, and as a consequence what happens? Alkenes are easily formed. Now the second method which we are going to learn is a Williamson synthesis. Now this Williamson synthesis, Williamson was a scientist and he was a professor of chemistry. Here give this synthesis to synthesize ether. It is an again important laboratory method to prepare the symmetrical as well as an unsymmetrical ethers. So it is again a lab scale method. While we are talking about this is again a industrial level method. The common reaction is given as Rx plus RONA to give you ROR or R dash, it is written. So Rx plus R dash, let this dash to be bigger, R dash. So what happens? This X goes with Na and it eliminates as NaX, while this OR part comes with R and forming ROR dash. Ethers containing substituted alkyl groups, that is we are talking about the secondary and tertiary, may also be prepared by this method. Again this involves the SN2, while the dehydration involves SN1. So do not get confused, okay? I am making it very clear. Better results are obtained if the alkyl halide is primary. So again, if it is primary, there is no issue. But in case of secondary and tertiary halides, because which is going to be replaced the secondary and tertiary. See, the example is given here. Okay, what happens? The elimination again competes over the substitution, and if a tertiary alkyl halide is used, an alkene is obtained. So in the previous result, again I have explained you why the dehydration is difficult, or why the elimination and substitution, there is a competition between these two reactions. Okay, so what happens now? There NaBr is formed. CH3O, rather joining with this carbon, it pulls one of the hydrogen and forms methanol. So let's say if this hydrogen is pulled, what you are going to get is either of this 3, what you are going to get is S2. So the reaction of sodium methoxide with tertiary bromide gives exclusively 2-methyl propane. Okay, it's an again alkene. It is because the alkoxide are not only nucleophile but the strong bases as well, and they react with alkyl halides and leading the elimination reaction. Rather than substitution, what takes place? The elimination. Okay, so I hope the preparation is clear to you. Now I am giving you a flow chart that will help you to understand these two reactions. So look at this flow chart. This flow chart shows the preparation of ethers in a summarized way. The first method we have seen is the acidic dehydration of alcohol. This is an industrial production, and what happens with primary alcohol, that if you are maintaining the temperature at 443 Kelvin in the presence of protic acid, what you are going to get is an alkene. But if you are desired product is ether, then you need to have the temperature equals to 413 Kelvin. Okay, this follows the SN2 mechanism. Please note, this is used for only primary alkyl groups, while what happens with the secondary and tertiary alcohol, the dehydration is not possible. I mean, it is not possible in the sense the production of ether is not possible, is unsuccessful. What happens if the dehydration occurs with secondary and tertiary alcohol, then the production of alkene is obtained, while it follows the SN1 mechanism. And why it is so? Because the substitution reactions is not taking place, actually the elimination reaction is taking place. Moving to the second method, that is Williamson synthesis. Williamson synthesis is again a lab scale method, while the dehydration of alcohol in the presence of protic acid is a industrial method. We are taking primary halides in the presence of sodium alkoxide, okay, and alkyl alkoxide, sodium alkoxide, to give you ether plus NaX, sodium halide. R and R dash could be same, or R dash could not be same. If it is same, this would be symmetrical. If it is different, then it is unsymmetrical. Okay, so the primary halides when react with sodium alkoxide is always giving you ether. Okay, while in case of secondary and tertiary halides, what happens? It always gives you alkene. Okay, now what happens if you have the secondary or tertiary alkoxide? That means in case of substituted alkoxide, you are going to get the secondary or tertiary ethers, and that follows the SN1 mechanism. That means if you wanted to prepare primary ether, then you need to take the primary halide. But if you want to take, if you want to prepare the secondary or tertiary ether, in case you cannot take the secondary and tertiary halide, what you need to do? You need to take the secondary alkoxide or tertiary alkoxide respectively. That will yield you secondary and tertiary ether. So that's all for now. Thank you. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos.